time for some still life photography using a single speed light. Check it out. I recently posted on my Facebook page a bit of a challenge that I kind of set to myself because I'm stuck at home here on this lock-in or lockdown, and I thought something photography-wise to keep me a bit busy. I posted two little things that I essentially put to the vote, and I asked people which one they would prefer. A, for me to do some still life photography using speed lights, or B, painting with light. And so I left it on there for a day and checked the votes, and most people wanted me to do some still life photography using speed lights. So that's what I'm going to do today. And basically what I did was look online on Pinterest and stuff like that to find some inspiration, ideas, things to take photos of, because most people kind of like traditionally, a lot of the still life photos you see are like fruit or whatever, you know, and stuff like that, nice arty stuff. But I came across a picture, this one here, and basically I thought this is something that everybody can do because everybody has plates, everybody's got knives and forks and spoons and all that kind of stuff. And I thought I'd keep it nice and simple. So I've set up here in my dining room on my table, and I'm using one single speed light, because I'm assuming a lot of you may not have 2, 3 speed lights. I've got no light modifiers. It's just a speed light on a stand with a trigger and a receiver and whatever. So it's kind of straightforward. So yeah, the shot on Pinterest, I want to try something a little bit more dramatic with the lighting and the shadows. So I'm just going to show you what I've got set up here in my kitchen. So by here I have my Yongnuo speed light. Now these are the cheapest speed lights you can get, I think. This one cost me like 40 quid. And I've got this tilted this way, sort of like to shoot a shaft of light across the table. So hopefully that'll create a nice little dramatic effect rather than, you know, from top down or whatever like that, you know. And I've got my power settings set to, I can show you right now, it is set to 164 power and 80 mil, because if you click on this little button, but here it's kind of like a lens, you know, you can adjust the actual width of the light that the light spread and stuff. So trying to get that in focus. So it's 24 mil would be the widest, and then it goes all the way up to 105. Whoops, let me see there. So I'm going to set it at 80. So yeah. But before we get going, a little tip, get a torch. This here is my cycling torch. It's just, you know, pretty standard stuff, but it's very powerful. And whoops, it's a good idea to, just because with a speed light, it's kind of hard to judge sometimes where the light is going to go. Use a lot of trial and error. Whereas if you use a torch beforehand, if you can, it's quite good to sort of give you an idea of the direction of the light and the effect you can achieve. So what I'm going to do here is point my light across the table and see how the light is, well, what it's doing basically. So you can see here, pointing it down, I've got a sort of shot at the same angle, so I can already see there's a shadow here, a bit of a shadow there, and this should do it. And the speed light is not pointing straight down at the table. It's actually across it, but it's the spill from the speed light that I'm hoping will be enough to light this scene. Let's go. Now the camera I'm using is a Sony A7II or Mark II, whatever, and I'm using a 35mm lens because I want to shoot fairly wide. And my settings are, once this boots up, it's got 1/80th shutter, f3.5 and ISO 100. But I'm also setting it into autofocus because I'm going to be shooting from up here straight down. Now, if I were to set this on manual focus, I would never hit the focus. So, luckily, this particular camera has a bit of a tilt screen. So I can look straight down, see what I'm doing, bish bosh, happy days. Boom, first attempt, not bad. However, the tail feathers a little bit in the shade, so what I'm going to do, too much in the shadow, I'm just going to get my reflector, a handy silver reflector, and I'll place that here, and see, creates a bit of a bounce. So hopefully the light that's shooting over here is hitting this reflector and it's bouncing back this way, so it'll light up the edge from here. So, there we go. That was the first setup. I'm going to move on to another one now. So for this shot, I haven't changed any of the settings on my speed light. It's all the same, but I've gone back to f3.5 on my camera. Now, the idea is basically I'm going to create a silhouette using just a fork, a cool shot. Now, this table here is slate surface, so it's kind of like, you know, uneven and stuff, but it's got a little bit of a sheen to it, so that should help with the light. So all I'm going to do basically is going to fire the light across the table, and I would hold it with this hand and then basically use my autofocus again to help get a good shot on this. Now with the torch again, it's quite handy to demonstrate how the light is affected depending on how close the light is basically to the subject. And if you hold the torch close to the fork, you can see the shadow is virtually non-existent. The further you take it away, the harsher the shadow goes. There we are, and you can see it quite nice, pronounced there. So that's why I've got the speed light over there about 3 feet away. That should be enough really to get some decent shadow going on. So here goes. Actually, I should say my settings is actually 1/80th shutter, f3.5 and ISO 100. So I've dialed it back down to that. So let's have a look, shall we? Now I want this to be very central, so I'm lining it up with the which side of the fork should I try? That side or that side? Try that side. I'm in line with the light stand. I'm just going to raise the camera here. Now what I want is enough space in the foreground to be able to create a bit of a shadow. So lush first attempt. Now it's not quite straight, so I'm going to try and go here, there. Where am I? Where am I? Okay. Okay. Nice. Lovely jubbly. Now this is also based on another shot that I'd seen on Pinterest. I really suggest going on Pinterest for ideas, or anywhere online really, Instagram and stuff, to see all the different kind of things that you can get inspiration from, and try it out yourself and see if you can get some good shots yourself. So I'll try a bit lower. So to there. That'll do nicely. Time to chuck it into the edit. Let's go. Okay, so here I am. I'm in Photoshop in the Camera Raw editor, and I've picked out 3 shots that I like. So here we have the chicken with single light and no reflector, and this is with the reflector. Now you can see the reflector over here, which I would sort of paint out and crop and stuff, but you see all sorts of different colors going on as well. But don't worry about that, because it's going to be turned black and white. However, in retrospect, looking at it, I kind of think I prefer this one right here. So I'm just going to go with this particular shot. Just a couple of little things I want to fix. So the first thing I'm going to do is bring the saturation right down, turn it black and white. I'm going to bump up the clarity, which will add some more details over here. But it's quite a bit brighter over here, and you've got a bit of fall off. So I was just going to brighten this area a little bit over here. To do that, I'm going to use the graduated filter tool right here, and just drag that over here like so, and then I'm just going to position it a little bit like that. You can turn that over here, you can turn that off, and then I'm just going to bring it down a notch. Now there's also a couple of little spots that I just want to tidy up, not much, because the table's kind of busy anyway, so I'm just going to click over these things. Now these little funny coloured circles are what is telling you where it's sampling to and from within the image, and you can actually grab one of these and you can say, I'm going to move it, you can adjust it and you can position it elsewhere. So you can say, hey, don't sample from there, I want you to sample from here. But then it does that sometimes and it doesn't look great. But anyway, I tend to leave Photoshop do its thing. It kind of does a good job. So there, a couple of little spots by you, and that one by there, maybe something here. that's it. I'm kind of happy with that. And also, I quite like that you can see the shadows have created a couple of extra little looking feet claw things going on. So I'm going to look at the fork silhouette now. This one's basically great straight out of camera. It kind of looks fully black and white, but if you look carefully, there's some color here and a little bit over here. So I'm just going to turn it black and white by just bring the saturation down. I'm going to add texture this time, which will bring out, I mean, it's a texture table anyway, but it should just bring out a bit more. I'm going to take it to about there, teeny bit of clarity. It's not quite level or straight rather, so I'm just going to use the crop tool rather than any other kind of leveling tool. Hold down shift and grab it from the corner, and then I'm just going to bring it in a little, and then just by eye. Again, you can do this better, but this is fine. It's not much. I'm just going to do it like so. And just to make sure that it's actually in the center, yes, I've lined up the little box here in the middle. And that means the shot is pretty much spot on. So there we go. That's my edit here of the still life challenge with a single speed light. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed that little demonstration. I think I might do this again, post other topics and see what you guys vote for. And if I can, and I can shoot it in my own house or my backyard, then I'll give that one a go, another one, yeah. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. And as usual, if you did, please like, comment, share and subscribe. Happy days.